Shifting our focus back to the island nation of Sri Lanka, where a political upheaval that is triggered by the ongoing economic crisis has erupted. But despite that, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has refused to resign. According to government's chief whip, the Sri Lankan president will not resign under any circumstances. Meanwhile, protests continued in the capital Colombo and other parts of the country, and students, in fact, stormed into Sri Lankan Health Ministry amid shortage of medicines. Addressing the parliament, the speaker also issued a grim forecast of starvation that is now being reported out of the country. My colleague Priyank, who has been getting us all the reports from Colombo specifically, is live with me on the broadcast. Priyank, we are looking at a situation of starvation that is now being reported from Sri Lanka, and yet the president and the prime minister are holding on to power. What is going on?
Certainly, the government has given a statement time and again in the parliament that whatever happens, the change of the regime of the government is not going to serve the purpose because this is an issue related to long-term policy which need to be taken by the government itself. The Prime Minister's son, Namal Rajapaksa, 3 days back gave a statement that we are ready to put in the papers. But the fact of the matter is that whether do we have immediate policy for this or not. A team of members have been constituted to look into the serious lapses which has happened in the past. If you talk about the policy of finances in the country of Sri Lanka. But in the meanwhile, the Indian government has also extended credit support of more than 1,000 crore dollars to Sri Lanka for food, medical and all the other materials. What we have accessed while going on the ground, that the price of the medicine at the private pharmacy shops has gone more than 30%, and there's an acute shortage of medical support also in these government hospitals. So on one side where the country is struggling and going through the worst of its phase, there has been extended support which has been given by India to give support to the Sri Lanka, the neighboring country, looking at the manner in which we have been doing in the past. This week, we are also expecting that there will be huge amount of rice as well as diesel, which is one of the prime thing for which the Sri Lankans have been awaiting. Another consignment is also expected to come here. But the political turmoil continues. The president and the prime minister have not been willing to resign. But 2 days back, the president also revoked the emergency which was imposed by him through the special section of the the conditions which are there in the constitution of Sri Lanka. So things are going in its own direction. The people are facing acute shortage. The need of the hour for the Sri Lankan government is to go to the IMF. But the IMF also comes up very harshly with respect to the tax thing, because after that, the tax and the indirect tax on many of the things will increase. And if that happens, the political dispensation of Sri Lanka wouldn't be able to go in the election once again and ask for vote of the people. So on one side, it's politically charged. On the other side, the issues all related to the economy is a major thing for which the Sri Lankans have been facing so far.
Absolutely. And Priyanka, they need a nation to survive for them to actually rule it. Now, one thing that has come out of the reports that you've been sending us are obviously cases of starvation that we've already spoken about. But what are these reports of students storming into the Ministry of Health because of medicine shortages that are being reported? And also, what else is the situation on ground? Because you are there, you'd be able to actually, bring us up to speed with the picture over there in Colombo.
See, if we talk about Sri Lankan economy, the major portion of the Sri Lankan economy is also dependent on tourists. They are also the production of paddy, which result to wheat. Rice is also one of the important factor. 1.8 million people have been engaged in the production of wheat, but unfortunately, because of the policy which was taken by the government, they are unable to get fertilizers, because the government 1 year back came up with a policy of no fertilizer, and they wanted to go for organic. So the fertilizers are missing from the farm, so the farmers don't have work. There is a political turmoil and protests happening in the country. That's why the tourists have also stopped coming here. There are very few number of tourists who have been visiting Sri Lanka. So that portion of the getting money is also stopped. On the other side, the rise in the price of various food material and basic necessity thing has also resulted to empty pocket of many of these people. We are talking about the Sri Lankans who have been staying in Colombo, but in the northern part of the country, which had seen, the dominance of the LTT, the dominance of all those extremist forces, which were, defeated by the, Sri Lankan forces in the year 2015. There is acute shortage of work, which is leading to empty pocket of all these individuals. So when the prices goes up and people don't have money in their pocket to go and buy food material or any medical material, certainly these kind of situations was expected to come. The worst thing which can happen in the due course of day or in the due course of week is, getting more, less money for these individuals. Because when we are, roaming here, people are so happy when they get dollars because the price of a Sri Lankan rupee is the worst performing currency across the world. So you can imagine, after looking at whatever I've told you, by it's a brief summary which I've presented before our viewers. But fact of the matter is the situation is so much in trouble that there need to be much more in-depth analysis and one more time period before people can actually understand what is going inside the city. Fact of the matter is the Sri Lankans are dependent on foreign countries. China has certainly pulled up their hand. The IMF is certainly waiting for Sri Lankans to come there, because if they give loan, they will also extend a huge, increase in the direct and indirect taxes for the people. So that is a very harsh method which the Sri Lankans are avoiding as of now. The only good thing for Sri Lankans is the credit limit which has been extended by the Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Narendra Modi from India. Because India has been sending huge amount of diesel, food material, as well as medicine for the country, so that the country can survive till the time they can revive their economy.